Hello, squirrel listeners. Had to take a pain pill for my feet. Oh gosh. Here's my brother calling. Sorry about that. Bro's going to get something to eat. I'm getting some Alfredo noodles. Anyway, I had to take, my feet are killing me. So I was trying not to take a pill until I read, but should have come on and read first. But anyway, we are on chapter 3 called Afloat. I don't know how far I'll get before I'll start not making sense. We'll see. Sylvia sat sewing in the sunshine with an expression on her face half mirthful, half melancholy, as she looked backward to the girlhood just ended and forward to the womanhood just beginning. For on that midsummer day she was 18. Voices roused her from her reverie, and looking up she saw her brother approaching with 2 friends. Their neighbor, Geoffrey Moore, and his guest, Adam Warwick. Aha! Adam Warwick, remember him from chapter 1. Her first impulse was to throw down her work and run to meet them. Her second, to remember her new dignity and sit still awaiting them with well-bred composure, quite unconscious that the white figure among the vines added a picturesque finish to the quiet summer scene. They came up warm and merry with a brisk row across the bay, and Sylvia met them with a countenance that gave a heartier welcome than her words, as she greeted the neighbor cordially, the stranger courteously, and began to gather up her work when they seated themselves in the bamboo chairs scattered about the wide piazza. "You need not disturb yourself," said Mark. "We are only making this a way station en route for the studio. Can you tell me where my knapsack is to be found? After one of Prue's stowages, nothing short of a divining rod will discover it, I'm afraid." "I know where it is. Are you going away again so soon, Mark?" "Only a 2 days' trip up the river with these mates of mine. No, Sylvia, it can't be done." "I didn't say anything, not in words, but you looked a whole volley of 'can I goes?' and I answered it. No girl but you would dream of such a thing. You hate picnics, and this will be a long and rough one. Don't you see how absurd it would be for you to try it?" "I don't quite see it, Mark, for this would not be an ordinary picnic. It would be like a little romance to me, and I had rather have it than any birthday present you could give me. We used to have such happy times together before we were grown up. I don't like to be so separated now, but if it is not best, I'm sorry that I even looked a wish." Sylvia tried to keep both disappointment and desire out of her voice as she spoke, though a most intense longing had taken possession of her when she heard of a projected pleasure so entirely after her own heart. But there was an unconscious reproach in her last words, a mute appeal in the wistful eyes that looked across the glittering bay to the green hills beyond. Now Mark was both fond and proud of the young sister who, while he was studying art abroad, had studied nature at home till the wayward but winning child had bloomed into a most attractive girl. He remembered her devotion to him, his late neglect of her, and longed to make atonement. With elevated eyebrows and inquiring glances, he turned from one friend to another. Moore nodded and smiled. Warwick nodded and sighed privately, and having taken the sense of the meeting of a new style of vote, Mark suddenly announced, "You can go if you like, Sylvia." "What?" cried his sister, starting up with a characteristic impetuosity that sent her basket tumbling down the steps, was crowned her dozing cat with Prue's nightcap frills. "Do you mean it, Mark? Wouldn't it spoil your pleasure, Mr. Moore? Shouldn't I be a trouble, Mr. Warwick? Tell me frankly, for if I can go, I shall be happier than I can express." The gentlemen smiled at her eagerness, but as they saw the altered face she turned toward them, each felt already rapid for any loss of freedom they might experience hereafter, and gave unanimous consent, upon receipt of which Sylvia felt inclined to dance about the three and bless them audibly, but restrained herself, well beamed upon them, and beamed upon them, but restrained herself, and beamed upon them in a state of wordless gratitude pleasant to behold. Having given a rash consent, Mark now thought best to offer a few obstacles to enhance its value and try his sister's mettle. "Don't ascend into the air like a young balloon, child, but hear the conditions upon which you go, for if you fail to work 3 miracles, it is all over with you. Firstly, the consent of the higher powers, for father will dread of all sorts of dangers." Wait a minute. First is the consent of higher powers, for fathers will dread all sorts of dangers. You are such a freakish creature. And Prue will be scandalized because trips like this are not the fashion for young ladies. Consider that point settled and go on to the next, said Sylvia, having ruled the house ever since she was born. She had no fears of success with either father or sister. Secondly, you must do yourself up in as compact a parcel as possible, for though you little women are very ornamental on land, you are not very convenient for transportation by water. Cambric gowns and French slippers are highly appropriate and agreeable at the present moment, but must be sacrificed to the stern necessities of the case. I'm getting too sleepy to read, y'all. I'll finish this page. You must make a dowdy of yourself in some usually short, scanty, dingy costume, which will try the nerves of all beholders and triumphantly prove that women were never meant for such excursions. Wait 5 minutes and I'll triumphantly prove to the contrary, answered Sylvia as she ran into the house. Her 5 minutes was sufficiently elastic to cover 15, for she was ravaging her wardrobe to effect her purpose and convince her father. Convince her brother, whose artistic taste she consulted with a skill that did her good service in the end. Beep, 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 beep. Like the Three Stooges do. Oh, and I got so much stitchery I want to get to, but I think a nap's going to be in order first. Love y'all. I'll try to read tomorrow when I'm more awake and fresh. Be sweet. Don't be ugly. Have a great Friday night. Love ya. Bye-bye.